Do you know what failure smells like? It's not dramatic. It's quiet. It smells like the same chair, the same couch, the same excuses you've repeated for 10 years. I'll start Monday. I've always been like this. My situation is different. You say you'll stop drinking. You say you'll fix your sleep. You say you'll lose the weight. And then, 2 weeks later, you're back in the same pit, staring at the same screen, shoveling the same poison into your body. You are not losing to your bad habits. You are losing to yourself. But the problem isn't that you're weak. The problem is that you are fighting a 40-year war with 21-day challenges and summer shred fantasies. Today, I'll show you a Japanese system that can break any bad habit, obesity, alcohol, procrastination, numb comfort. A system built on Kaizen, Ikigai, Hara Hachi Bu, Wabi-Sabi, and Ganbaru. It won't ask you to become a hero overnight. It will demand something more brutal. Keep one microscopic promise to yourself until your identity changes. If you can't handle that, click away. If you're still here, then listen, because this is the story of a man who was dying while still alive, and the day he stopped accepting it. Christopher was 40. 142 kilos. Stock manager in a warehouse for 15 years. Alarm at 5 a.m., home at 7 p.m. 2 kids, a wife, bills, no time, no energy, no respect for his own body. Breakfast eaten half awake in the car. Lunch at his desk, surrounded by boxes and screens. Dinner on the couch, eyes locked on the TV, because he was too exhausted to sit at the table like a present man. Weekends? Pizza. Beer. Couch. His reward for working like a mule was slowly killing him. His body gave warnings. Stairs felt like a hill under battlefield armor. Tying his shoes became a mission, holding his breath. Stomach crushed, sweating over laces. The kids asked him to play. He said, later. Then, not today. Then they stopped asking. But the deepest cut wasn't the scale. It was his 7-year-old daughter's eyes when she silently learned a brutal truth. My father does not play. Christopher saw it, have felt it. And he did nothing because he had accepted a quiet, poisonous belief. That's just who I am. He had tried to change before. 3 times to the gym, 2 months, then quit. 3 weeks on low carb, then quit. 5 days of running, then quit. He had entered the death zone most people live in for decades. Not dead, but defeated. I've always been fat. It's genetics. My metabolism is slow. I don't have time. Then his body finally said, enough. It was a Saturday morning. He was in the backyard, not playing with his 9-year-old son, just sitting in a plastic chair, watching the boy kick a ball around alone. The ball flew into the neighbor's flower bed. Dad, can you get it for me? Christopher stood up, walked to the flower bed, bent down, picked up the ball. And then, nothing. He couldn't get up. No injury, no sudden pain, just no power. His legs simply couldn't lift his own weight. So there he was, a grown man on all fours in the neighbor's flower bed, sweating, trying to rise. His 9-year-old son watching in silence. The neighbor having to help him stand. You might think that sounds extreme. It isn't. There are thousands of people who can't perform basic daily tasks because of the body they've built or abandoned. That night, Christopher sat on the edge of his bed and broke. He cried because he was 40 and needed help to stand. He cried because his son had witnessed it. He cried because he knew. He was engraving a memory into that boy's mind. My father was weak. His wife came in, hugged him without saying a word. Then she said quietly, "You need help, Chris. Real help." Oh. The next morning, Sunday, he called the only man he knew who had truly changed his body and kept it that way. A friend named Marcus. Marcus had lost 30 kilos and wasn't just thinner. He looked complete, straighter back, sharper gaze, present. "Marcus, I need help. Did you go to a doctor? Take medication? What did you do?" Marcus paused. "I did go to a doctor, but he didn't give me medicine. He gave me a philosophy. Philosophy doesn't make you lose weight, Marcus." "Oh." "You're wrong," Marcus said. "You'll see." On Tuesday, Christopher sat in a consultation room that didn't feel like a clinic. No posters, no machines, no antiseptic smell. Just a wooden table, 2 chairs, and a huge window facing a quiet garden. Then the doctor entered, around 65. Thin, upright posture, movements controlled and economical. He didn't look like a doctor. He looked like a retired swordsman, a monk who had seen many battles and no longer needed to raise his voice to command respect. "Christopher," he said, "tell me what brought you here." Chris unloaded everything. The weight, the exhaustion, the kids, the shame, the flower bed. He braced himself for the usual script: diet plan, prescriptions, blood tests. But the doctor didn't turn on a computer, didn't reach for a pad. He just asked, "How many times have you tried to lose weight?" 3, 4 times, maybe more. "Oh, and how long did each attempt last?" "A few weeks, 2 months at most." The doctor nodded slowly like a man who has heard the same story 1,000 times. "Do you know why you failed?" Christopher started the standard list. Lack of time, genetics, my metabolism. The doctor raised a hand like a commander halting a soldier. "No, you failed because you tried to win a 40-year war in a 2-month battle. Your body took 40 years to reach this weight. Your mind took 40 years to forge these habits. And you think you can undo all of this in weeks?" Silence. Then the doctor leaned forward. "Christopher, I'm going to make you a proposition. I will ask you to make a change today. A change so small you'll think I'm insulting you. So small your ego will tell you it's pointless. Do you accept?" Chris was desperate. "I'll accept anything." "Good," the doctor said. "From today onwards, every morning when you wake up before doing anything else, you will drink 1 glass of water. That is all." Christopher waited for the rest. "Nothing. Just that?" "Just that. 1 glass of water, every day, for 2 weeks. You can keep eating pizza, keep drinking beer, keep watching TV. Just add that glass of water." "Doctor, with respect, I need to lose about 50 kilos. A glass of water won't do it." "You're right," he said. "A glass of water won't make you lose 50 kilos. Then he locked eyes with Christopher. "It will do something more important. It will prove that you can keep a promise to yourself. And that proof is the only thing you need right now." Christopher left angry and confused. $200. To be told to drink water? But the words wouldn't leave his head. A promise to yourself. Olu. How many times had he broken those? How many Mondays did he swear he would change, only to give up by Wednesday? If he couldn't trust his own word, how could he transform his life? That night, he filled a glass with water, left it by his bed. At 5 a.m., the alarm rang. He saw the glass. He drank. Day 2, same thing. Day 3, same thing. On day 7, something shifted. He woke up before the alarm. First thought, "Where's my glass of water?" His brain had started to expect the ritual. On day 14, he went back to see the doctor. "Did you drink water every day?" the doctor asked. "Yes." "How do you feel?" "Honestly, a little stupid. I didn't lose weight, but I did it. I did something for 2 straight weeks." The doctor smiled, not kindly, but like a smith watching metal finally start to respond to heat. "You've just learned the first principle, Kaizen. Continuous improvement through microscopic changes. You didn't try to climb the mountain. You just took 1 step, and then another. But it's just a glass of water. It's not about the water, Christopher. It's about proving to your brain that change is possible. That you are not the type of man who gives up at the first discomfort. Now, are you ready for the next step?" Christopher nodded. "Keep drinking water," the doctor said. "Now add one more thing. When you serve your meals, start with half of what you'd normally put on your plate. Just half. If you're still hungry after 20 minutes, you may serve yourself more. But first half." Christopher hesitated. Small again. Too small. But he'd kept the first promise. "Okay, I'll do it." "Good," the doctor said. "We will speak again in 3 weeks." What the doctor didn't explain right away was that this wasn't just a diet hack. He was pulling Christopher into a complete system the Japanese had used for centuries. Kaizen was the gate. Improve 1% per day. If you improve 1% per day for 1 year, you don't get 365% better. You get over 37 times better. Compounding, exponential. There's a name for habits like that glass of water, keystone habits. The first domino, the lever. Change one small thing, and it pulls other parts of your life with it. The first week with half plates was brutal. He'd finish eating, and just sit there, staring at the stove, wanting more. His brain screaming, "You're still hungry. You need more." Oh, but he remembered the rule, wait 20 minutes. In 3 weeks, how many times do you think he actually went back for more? Twice. Not because his body needed food, but because it was spoiled. Without saying the word, the doctor was teaching him Hara Hachi Bu, the Okinawan rule. Eat until 80% full. Your stomach takes about 20 minutes to signal satisfaction to your brain. You shovel food fast, fill your plate to the edge, you blow past that line and only notice when your stomach hurts. At the next appointment, he'd lost 3 kilos. It's not about the number, the doctor said. It's about the direction. For the first time in 40 years, your body is moving where you decide. I feel different, Christopher said. Not just lighter, I feel in control. Because you are, the doctor replied. Now, the third step. We will add movement. But not the kind you have in mind. No gym membership, no treadmill, no beast mode. Every morning, after your water and before you get in the car, you will walk from your front door to the mailbox and back. Christopher laughed. Doctor, the mailbox is 20 meters away. That's nothing. It's not about exercise, the doctor said. It's about reminding your body that it was built to move. 20 meters today. Maybe the corner next week. But right now, the mailbox. So that became the protocol. Water in the morning. Half the food on the plate. Walk to the mailbox. On the third day of his walk, his 7-year-old daughter saw him heading out. Dad, can I come with you? They walked together, 20 meters, holding hands. She talked about school and her best friend, things she rarely told him, because her father had always been too tired. When they got back, she said, "Can we do this every day?" The following week, he started walking to the corner store, not because the doctor told him to, because his daughter wanted to. And for the first time in years, he did it without gasping for air. No back pain, no collapsing on the couch afterward. By the end of the second month, he had lost 8 kilos. But the real shift was in his eyes. There was a light there, the look of a man who has finally stopped lying to himself. In the next consultation, the doctor asked, "Christopher, why are you doing all this?" "To lose weight." "No," the doctor said. "Why are you really doing this?" "The core reason." Bowen. For the first time, Christopher actually thought about it. "I want to see my children grow up. I want to walk my daughter down the aisle. I want to have real time with my wife. I want to feel worthy of myself." The doctor nodded. "That is your Ikigai, your reason for living. Your goal is not weight loss. Your goal is to be present. Weight is just the obstacle between you and your purpose." From then on, when he didn't want to wake up early, he didn't think about water or diet. He thought about his daughter's hand in his. When he wanted to stack his plate, he didn't think about calories. He thought about walking her down the aisle. Motivation for this. Purpose doesn't. 3 months later, Christopher had lost 14 kilos. Clothes were looser. Co-workers started asking, "What are you doing?" His answer, "Just a few small adjustments." Then came Thanksgiving. A battlefield of food. Turkey, mashed potatoes, pies everywhere. Everyone filling plates like they'd never see food again. Christopher tried to keep his habit, half a plate. "Is that all? Are you sick?" his mother asked. "Dude, it's Thanksgiving," his brother-in-law said. "Forget the diet for a day." Social pressure is a silent assassin. Your change reminds people of their stagnation, and they want the old version of you back to feel comfortable again. Christopher gave in. He filled his plate. He ate until he couldn't move. Heffer disgusting. Overfull. Ashamed. That night, he stared into the mirror and thought, "I broke the streak. I always do this. It's over." The next morning, he didn't want the water. He didn't want the walk. The old script returned. "Since I already failed, what's the point?" But then he remembered something the doctor had said that he hadn't understood. You will fail. And when that happens, you'll discover whether you've truly changed. He texted the doctor, "Doctor, I overate yesterday. I ruined everything. I don't know if I can continue." The reply came in minutes. "Come to the office this afternoon." Christopher expected a lecture, maybe a pep talk. Instead, the doctor sat down and asked, "Tell me what happened." Christopher told him. The food, the pressure, the failure, the urge to give up. Did you drink water this morning? Yes. Did you walk? Yes. The doctor leaned in. Then you didn't fail, you stumbled. There's a difference. When you stumble, you lose balance, but you're still moving. When you fall, you stop. Then he said, "Now, I will teach you Wabi-Sabi, the philosophy that nothing is perfect, nothing is permanent, nothing is complete. There is beauty in the crack, not the polished surface. You ate too much one day. So what? That does not erase 14 kilos. It does not erase 3 months of waking early. It does not erase the walks with your daughter. One imperfect day does not destroy a worthy journey." Something broke inside Christopher, not his resolve, but his obsession with perfection. "What if I overeat again?" he asked. "You will, many times. And every time it happens, you will wake up, drink water, and walk. Practice is not never failing. Practice is always returning." That changed everything. For the first time in his life, he stopped chasing perfection. He chased consistency. Perfection rejects reality. Consistency accepts it and continues anyway. The doctor added one more concept. Now we speak of Ganbaru, perseverance. The ability to endure hardship without running away. You showed Ganbaru today. You binged yesterday. You didn't want to continue today. And yet you drank the water. You walked. This is how warriors are made, not by never falling, but by never staying down. Over the next months, Christopher stumbled repeatedly. Christmas, his son's birthday cake, stressful weekends with pizza and beer. But each time, he returned to the same protocol. Water, half plate, walk. And something powerful happened in his brain. We don't quit anymore. We stumble, then steady ourselves, but we keep moving. By 6 months, he had lost 23 kilos. The true victory? One day he went downstairs, knelt on the floor to play Lego with his son, and stood up without thinking, without pain. Another night, his wife asked to walk after dinner. He said yes, without hesitation. One Saturday, his daughter asked to play tag. He chased her around the yard, sweating, laughing, alive. His wife watched from the window and smiled not because his body was changing, but because something deeper had returned. Not his size, his essence. By the 9th month, Christopher had lost 35 kilos. He walked 30 minutes a day. He no longer had to force himself to eat half plates. His body simply didn't crave that much. But the real transformation was internal. He was becoming a different man. In that consultation, the doctor asked, "Christopher, when was the last time you thought about giving up?" He paused. "Last week? Last month? I can't remember." The doctor nodded. "Do you know why? Because you stopped trying to change and started living differently. It's no longer about effort. It's about identity. You are no longer a fat man trying to lose weight. You are a man who takes care of himself. That is the difference between temporary change and permanent transformation." The doctor took a piece of paper and drew 5 connected circles. Everything we've done can be summarized here. Ikigai, purpose. You discovered that you're not doing this to lose weight, but to live long enough and strong enough to be there for your family. Kaizen, method. 1% improvements. Water, food, movement, microscopic steps. Hara Hachi Bu, moderation. Eat until 20%, not 120%. You learned restraint instead of excess. Wabi-Sabi, imperfection. You stumbled many times and kept walking. You embraced the cracks instead of quitting over them. Ganbaru, perseverance. On the hard days, you didn't aim for greatness. You did the minimum that kept momentum alive. These 5 are not a diet plan, he continued. They are a system for life. You can use them in your career, in relationships, in finances, everywhere. At 12 months, Christopher went for blood tests. He hadn't done that in years, too afraid of the results. The doctor at the clinic looked confused. "Have you started a new treatment?" "Why?" "Your cholesterol has dropped. Blood pressure is normal for the first time in years. Blood sugar looks excellent. What are you doing?" Christopher smiled. "Just drinking water in the morning." The clinic doctor didn't understand. Christopher did. It wasn't the single glass of water. It was 365 glasses of water, 365 plates with half the food, 365 walks. Not magic, just compound discipline. He went home, took off his shirt, and looked at himself in the mirror. For the first time in 20 years, he looked at his own body without disgust. No six-pack, loose skin in places. Still 15 kilos away from ideal. But what he saw was far more important. A man who had kept a promise to himself every day for an entire year. By 18 months, he had lost 52 kilos. Down to 90. Not the skinniest man in the world, but healthy, strong, present. His daughter turned 9. They had a party in the park. The children played tag, and this time, Christopher ran with them. Another parent asked, "Man, how did you lose all that weight?" He thought about explaining Kaizen, Ikigai, Hara Hachi Bu. Instead, he just said, "One small step at a time," literally. Oh. That night, lying in bed, his wife said, "Do you know what I love most about your transformation?" "What?" "Not that you lost weight. That you came back. You were here physically, but you weren't present. Now, you are." Christopher almost broke again. "I almost gave up so many times," he said. "But you didn't," she replied. A researcher at Stanford studying habits found that most change fails not because people are weak, but because they try to change too fast. Your brain is wired to resist drastic change. When you try to overhaul your life in 21 days, your nervous system reads it as a threat. But when you introduce tiny shifts less than 1%, the alarm doesn't trigger. You bypass resistance. You hack your own brain. Studies on longevity in Okinawa and other blue zones show that the longest living people in the world don't follow extreme diets or insane training regimens. They share 5 traits: moderation in eating, constant, natural movement, a clear purpose in life, acceptance of imperfection, perseverance through hardship. Sound familiar? A neuroscientist from London explains that willpower is limited. It drains throughout the day. But when you turn a behavior into identity, you don't need willpower anymore. You're no longer forcing yourself to do something. You're just being who you are. 2 years after that first visit, Christopher weighed 88 kilos. He maintained the loss. He still drank water every morning, still walked, still stopped around 80% full. Not because he was on a plan, because this is who he had become. People at work began asking him to help them. He became the man others sought for guidance. "How did you do it?" they'd ask. He would answer with a question. "What is the smallest change you can make today?" "I can start going to the gym." "No, smaller." "I can run 10 minutes." "No, smaller." "Drink a glass of water in the morning?" "Good, do that, for 2 weeks, then we'll talk." 9 out of 10 people never came back. They wanted miracles, shiny new methods. Not the quiet brutality of consistency. But the 10th? They came back in 2 weeks and said, "I did it, every day, and I feel different." And Christopher would know. That person understood. They would succeed. The old doctor retired. During their last session, he told Christopher, "You know you never needed me, right?" "What do you mean?" "Everything I gave you was already inside you. I simply gave you permission to go slowly, to be imperfect, and to continue anyway. You think you couldn't stand up from a squat years ago? Physically, no. But mentally? You stood up every day when you went to work, exhausted, supported your family, carried shame, and still moved forward. You have always had Ganbaru. You just didn't know its name." Christopher embraced him with deep gratitude. The doctor hadn't saved his life. He had handed it back to him and said, "Forge it." Though, in his living room, there are 2 photos on the wall. In the first, he's 142 kilos, sitting in that plastic chair, watching his kids play without him. In the second, he's on the floor, 88 kilos, building Lego with his son, his daughter jumping on his back, both laughing. His wife took that picture. "Why did you take this?" he asked. "Because this is the moment I waited 10 years for," she said. "The moment you came back." His daughter, now 12, tells her friends at school, "My father is the most disciplined person I know." She watched him drink water every morning, walk every day, stumble, get back up, again and again. She didn't grow up seeing motivational speeches. She grew up seeing identity. If you're still watching, it's because something inside you is not satisfied with the life you're living. Maybe it's weight. Maybe it's alcohol. Maybe it's procrastination, mindless scrolling, or that I'm wasting my life, feeling you carry in your chest. You tell yourself your case is special. Mine is more complicated, harder, different. You're right, your life is unique. But the system is the same. The problem isn't a lack of information. You already know you should eat better, move more, sleep longer, drink less, be present. The problem is that you're trying to win a 20-year war in a 21-day battle. Every time you try to change everything at once, you fail. Every time you fail, you carve a deeper belief. I am weak. I can't do it. I am that kind of person. You are not. You are just using the wrong system. The system you've seen here is not about rapid transformation. It's about permanent transformation. You don't need 30 days of intensity. You need 30 years of consistency. And consistency only survives when the action is small enough to be done even on your worst day. So here is your warrior's challenge, the same one the doctor gave Christopher. Choose one change, the smallest you can imagine. So small your ego will mock it. So small you cannot find an excuse. 1 glass of water in the morning, 5 push-ups before bed, 1 minute of meditation, 1 page of a book. Pick one. Do it every day for 14 days. Don't upgrade it. Don't add extra goals. Don't try to be efficient and stack 10 habits. Just do one microscopic act. Every single day. On day 14, you will not have transformed your body, but you will have done something far more dangerous. You will have proven that you can keep your word to yourself. Once you know you can keep a small promise, you know you can keep bigger ones. Then you add another small change, then another. And one day, you look in the mirror and you're a different person. Not because you changed overnight, but because you forged a new identity one tiny decision at a time. Time will pass anyway. 3 years from now, you will either look at the mirror with shame, or look at it and see a person who kept every promise they decided mattered. Ikigai gives you why. Kaizen gives you how. Hara Hachi Bu gives you restraint. Wabi-Sabi gives you compassion for your cracks. Ganbaru gives you endurance. You don't need to wield all 5 at once. You just need to start with 1 act today. And when you stumble because you will, you do not quit. You drink the water. You walk to the mailbox. You return to the path. The warrior is not the one who never falls. The warrior is the one who never stays down. If this hit you, don't just disappear into the algorithm. Declare your smallest change in the comments. Not your grand plan. Not your dose-week transformation fantasy. Just the first microscopic action you will do tomorrow morning. Write it like an oath, because once you say it publicly, it's no longer an idea, it's a commitment. In 2 weeks, come back and see. Did you stand by your word, or did you break it? If you're ready to keep forging yourself, to use Stoic philosophy, warrior discipline, and evolutionary psychology as weapons against your own weakness, then subscribe to Silence and Steel. Not as a fan, as a recruit, because from now on, your life is not about comfort. It's about becoming the kind of person your future self will refuse to betray. Walk with honor, drink the water, take the step, follow the path.